What's up, gamers? Today, we'll be reviewing a sin greater than any listed in all religious texts. Defiling Rainbow Six Siege. My baby. My sweet baby. This here, ignore its father. Its father is an alcoholic with a gambling addiction. This here is the perfect golden child of gaming. And my one, only addiction. Rainbow Six Siege isn't perfect, but it's my game. And these people, what they have done, it's vile. Breachers VR. This here is Breachers VR, brought to you by the developers of Hyperdash, the only VR shooter whose gun mechanics make a Roblox FPS feel like real life. Funny enough, these developers took this dogshit reloading system and used it in a tactical game. I know this is a stylistic choice or whatever, and maybe it saves the itty-bitty Quest players some frames, but if you're gonna mess with my boy, at least give me some satisfying reload mechanics. Like, all this game is missing is the ability to cock the gun. Look at this. Pathetic. This is pathetic. It's not fun, it's not immersive, and most of all, it doesn't make reloading matter. The whole point of reloading in shooter games, especially VR, is to add a skill curve and something that breaks up the gunfights and adds stress. These carefully timed mag pulls, finding your magazine, loading it into your gun, and pulling the thing back is just, chef's kiss. But this is god-awful. This is an excuse for a reloading system, and it makes me think it might as well just be a button press. If all I had to do is press a button, then drag my hand to the bottom of the gun and wait a few seconds, why isn't it a button press? This adds nothing to the gameplay and just breaks immersion for me. Now, I know this is a nitpick and a very subjective statement, but I don't care. Every good VR shooter, even ones that run on Quest, do this. So why can't you, Breachers? Now, from this last paragraph, holy shit, I really did write an entire paragraph complaining about reloading mechanics. Anyways, from this, you might assume I hate this game, but on the contrary. Now, this game isn't a Bone Lab, Boneworks, or Blade and Sorcery by any means, but this is a decent experience. As someone who thinks all games are better in VR, I can't say I don't enjoy this. My favorite game of all time, the thing that my friends relate my entire personality to, in VR? That's sick as hell. Maybe it's not a peak experience, but it's still an amazing time. Now that the portion of this video dedicated to not getting goat seed in the comments is over, let's get back to what I dislike about this mobile game VR port. First of all, the graphics and art design look like either a MOBA from 2011 or a mobile game with its style. Don't give me the excuse it's artistic or stylized. Bullshit. Look at Borderlands, look at A Hat in Time, look at Lethal Company, look at every Nintendo game ever. Hey Nintendo, don't think me giving you praise means you're off the chopping block. Once I finish the hour-long video about wall running I've been working on that I'll probably never release, you're next. But look at games like this. Then look at Breachers. Look at this. It's awful. If I wanted any worse simulation sickness, I'd go play Half-Life 1 on a 480p CRT monitor. Like, I feel this game was an asset flip of every free 3D model they could find online. Some things look insanely high detail, while others look like they come from a DS game. Pick a side, Breachers. You look at the guns of the characters and think this is a well-defined game, but you turn your head to the environment and you're beamed into a Minecraft mod. Now, I'm not one to complain about graphics. It doesn't control the quality of a game, but continuity and quality are the key issues here. The maps feel like these deeply uncanny liminal spaces that try to be realistic while efficient, but the low polygon count and primitive geometry of it all just makes me feel deeply uncomfortable, like I'm somewhere I don't belong. Side note, Breachers dev team, I'm a 3D modeler. You should hire me to fix your environment assets. XOXO love you. Ignore the rest of this video, pretty please. Just email me the application. Speaking of not belonging, apparently arms are legal in this universe. This is just a nitpick for me, but this game was released in 2023. At this point, I feel like IK arms should be standard. Just add an IK rig. The player models have arms for my teammates. Why can't I have them in first person? This completely breaks immersion when interacting with stuff. I get it's standard for a lot of VR games, but look at Bone Lab, look at Blade and Sorcery, look at Ghost of the Boar. These are the most popular VR games right now. And notice two things they have in common that you're missing. Satisfying interaction, physics, and fucking arms. Look at these arms, baby. Look at these arms, give me more arm. Now, we're trapped in a liminal space made in a Minecraft mod, and our arms are magically floating away from our body. But how's the gunplay, you might ask? Decent, surprisingly. Though the reloading leaves much to be desired, the flow of combat and the effectiveness of the weapons are just what I'd want to see in a game like this. Side note, Breachers, please add more sights to this game. Siege is removing all their ACOGs from defenders, and you just decided, well, why don't we one them up and give 0 scopes? I get some people aren't uncomfortable with scopes in VR, but please, this would make the game have so much more depth, and regardless of the sights, you need more attachments. The attachments are so limited. Give multiple grips, give multiple scopes, give multiple options for a laser or flashlight, something other than this. Now, let's move on to gadgets. A game ripping off Siege should be great in terms of abilities, right? Well, wrong. The closest thing to an actual operator ability would be the cloaking device. This thing is supposed to make you invisible, but it just turns you into a blob. The only thing that you're hiding from, if you're not an actual toddler, is a fucking lawsuit from Ubisoft. Next up are grenades. Not much to talk about here, they do their job. These are pretty basic. Fire grenades, frag grenades, smoke grenades. They're fine, just fine. Now we have the drone. What tactical SWAT experience is complete without a drone? Breachers, of course! This flying piece of junk moves so slowly and is so big that the second you even approach the enemy's sight, you've been shot out of the sky. Additionally, there's no other intel devices in the game. For something that aims to be tactical, there sure seems to be no room for tactics to be had here. It's mostly just buy the gun that's the least shit you can currently afford and run into sight hoping not to get fucking shot. Speaking of core gameplay and strategy, let's talk about the breaching mechanics. This breaching foam is the only way to destroy walls and hatches. You can break barricades with your gun by bashing it or shooting it, but to breach a site, you need the shaving cream C4 thing. I think the mechanics for this are fine in and of themselves, but the defenders have no way to reinforce these walls other than killing the enemy team before they get a chance to get close enough to spray all their white goo all over the wall and blow it. In Siege, the careful balance of electricity, mute jammers, soft breachers adds a huge depth to how breaching the sites work. But just having these untouchable paper-thin walls that can be blown up without any way to stop it, it just feels boring. As a defender, you feel very out of control in this game. The defense tools at your disposal are very limited. You have a tripwire that alerts you when enemies walk by, but the laser is so bright that you can see it from down the hall and shoot it like it's nothing. You have a door barricade that's essentially castles mixed with Iruni's ability from Siege, and this is the only defender thing that I actually think matters and is any percent useful. And then you have this weird grenade thing that acts kind of like barbed wire. These tools are very limited and leave no major effects on gameplay besides a mild inconvenience. If one of these poses any bother to attackers, they can just destroy them with their guns or their grenades. There's no operators, so you can't have to pick your loadout and abilities to specialize in one task. Every attacker can completely clobber any defense you may set up like it was nothing, leaving defenders powerless to the flow of the match. And what strategies are used? This all leaves the game feeling more like an indoor Counter-Strike than a breaching game. Look, Triangle Factory. If you're going to name your game Breachers, why don't you add some fucking breaching? Now, I've yapped quite a bit about this game, going on 4 whole pages. So let's finally get to the conclusion. How to fix this game, and my final rating. My suggestions for this game are really simple, and I'll focus on making the game have more depth and feel more immersive. 1. Add realistic weapon reloads. I want to have to cock my gun. I want to feel like I'm actually holding something, holding a real weapon, and not just playing Nerf with my buddies in the backyard. 2. Make your maps more complex and highly detailed. I love the art style you use for the characters and the weapons, so make the maps look the same as them. 3. I know you don't want to get sued by Big Brother watching from above Ubisoft, so instead of operators, maybe add some preset loadouts instead of this CSGO buy menu that, way, every attacker isn't some Rambo capable of clobbering any defenses. 4. Add reinforced walls. Maybe give the defenders 1 or 2 of these things, and give no counter to them on the attacker side. That way the defenders have some actual power in affecting how the match is played. Now, lastly, 5. Make the drones free and make them smaller, faster, or impossible to shoot. Also, we should see the camera feeds on our wrist, on a tablet maybe, instead of having to enter the drone view just to check what it sees. This would add huge amounts of complexity and intel capabilities to the attackers. Now, for my final rating of this game, I give it half a Vultures out of 1 graduation. Take that however you will, and yes, I ripped off Funky. Funky is arguably the best creator on this platform. Fight me. Now, before I end this video, I'd like to mention, what the fuck happened with my last video? Like, holy shit, I just forced a friend to sing a Weezer song and it's my most popular video. Like, what? I spent maybe 5 minutes on that video besides making her the model as bribery for singing. I just hope that viewership brings more traffic to my newer videos. So, if you like my video, or at least if you like this one, why don't you gently pet that like button? Did it do the thing? Did your button go all colorful when I said like button? That's such a weird feature, but neat anyways, I guess. Don't forget to subscribe for more awful gaming-related videos. But thank you all for watching. If you made it this far, I'm glad your attention span isn't all gone yet. But I'll see you next time. Probably when I don't release the wall running video. Bye.
This way is a water slide away from me that takes it further every day. So try to be cool. Say it.